Gamer back with another video for you. And yes, your boy Horror Gamer is looking a little dapper this evening. That's because I just got off work, my 9 to 5. So I wanted to get this video out while it was still fresh in my memory. So this video today is going to be another movie review for you. And what movie am I going to be doing? Boom, Midsommar. Now, we all know that your boy Horror Gamer's reviews have spoilers all in it all day, every day. So if you don't want the movie to be spoiled, if you haven't seen it, go watch the movie, come back, leave a comment in the comment section. Let me know what you thought. Maybe you thought my comments were stupid. Maybe you agree. Who knows? But with all that being said, this is the last disclaimer. I'm going to give you a second and then I'm going to get right into it. So, all right, there it is. So, this movie is the second movie by Ari Aster, the guy who directed that flaming hot turd from a couple years ago, Hereditary. And it took me forever to watch this movie because I could not stand Hereditary. You guys know I did a review on that one, and yeah, I just couldn't stand that. But this stars Florence Pugh. If you don't know her, she played Paige in Wrestling with My Family. Also, Jack Rayner, I think I'm saying his name right. He was from that movie Kin. And then William Jackson Harper. He is from the show The Good Place, I think. And the last guy is William Porter. Yeah, William Porter. He's from We're the Millers. So he was the funny guy, the funny kid on We're the Millers. And basically, the story of this movie is about Florence Pugh's character, Danny. She gets a disturbing email from her sister saying about how we're leaving. It's dark here, and mom and dad are coming too. Goodbye. Basically, like a suicide thing. But Danny's sister has a tendency to make these kind of emails because she's bipolar. So she's worried about it, but not too worried about it. And Jack Ryer's character is her boyfriend, and he calms her down a little bit. Well, come to find out, Danny's sister ends up turning the cars on and bringing hoses up into the house, duct tapes one to her face and puts one underneath her parents' room and duct tapes the door, basically doing a murder-suicide. And so Danny's all distraught. And let me tell you something. Florence, you're an awesome actress, but man, your cry, I mean, it was annoying. I mean, it was heartfelt and you feel the pain, but it was an annoying fucking just, the cry was just, Anyway, so to help her feel a little better, her boyfriend ends up inviting her to go to Switzerland with him and his friends for a midsummer festival, which one of his friends, it's his family's festival because he's from Switzerland, and he wants to take them to their village and have this festival. And so they all go, and it's fucking crazy. Let me tell you something. These fucking people, I want to say that they're a death cult because they fucking, like, the things they do in this movie. Like, there's a scene where there's this old couple who, I guess, the way they look at life is like the seasons. Like, you know, spring you're born, you know, summer, fall you get a little closer towards the end, and then winter is like the end of life. And they said that these two people were like in the winter of their lives. So what they do is they have this big party for these two. They're like guests of honor, basically, and they have this big elaborate meal. They dress them in this nice garb, and then after the meal and everything, they do this big toast, and then they drag them up to this fucking mountainside. And so they go up to this mountainside, and they cut their hands open, and they touch these like graves or whatever. And then, this is crazy, okay? They proceed to jump off a fucking mountain, these two old people. The first woman, I mean, and you see it, like, they don't show the jump and then nothing. They show the initial dive off, and then they go pan over to the people watching. No. They show the people watching, and it has a moment of like stillness and quietness, and then she fucking goes. and you see this woman go the whole way down, and you see her hit. And when she fucking hits this rock, her fucking face explodes in the fucking soup, and it's just, this fucking scene was bloody, it was gory, it was crazy. And then her husband fucking follows right behind him, or her, and he fucking does it wrong, and he lands on his legs. And then you see him laying there, and he look down his legs are all fucking broken and busted up and bone everywhere. It was horrible. And then they come in with this big fucking hammer and boom, and they take turns hitting him in the head until he fucking dies, and they show his head flattened, and it was rough. So Florence Pugh's character and Will Porter's character and Mr. Jackson's character, they're all sitting here watching this because Danny's boyfriend and his friend, who's the who is played by William Jackson Harper. They're doing William Jackson Harper's character is writing a thesis. It's because they're in college, and Jack Rayner's character decides he wants to do a thesis on the same thing. So basically, like copying him, and so they're like kind of bickering back and forth throughout the movie, and it's just a lot of drug use. Like these people use fucking drugs like it's no tomorrow there, and some of the images, like there's a scene where Florence Pugh is sitting there after she drank this concoction, and she's starting to see like her hand turn into grass, and like this thing's fucking with her, and she looks around and she starts having this freak out, and she starts running, and she thinks these kids that are sitting off to the side having a little shindig or whatever are laughing at her, and she's just like freaking out internally. And then there's another scene with the guy from We're the Millers. He goes and he takes a piss on the sacred tree. He takes a piss on their dead sacred tree, but he didn't know. So they're telling him they're gonna fucking kill him, and so the girl that he's having an eye for tells him, come with me. And so they go and they disappear. They just fucking disappear. And then you don't find out later that they end up killing him because the first guy who's doing the thesis is in the sacred like temple or whatever, taking forbidden pictures of their sacred literature. And they come up behind him and he looks at him. He's like, dude, what are you doing? And he realizes that they cut off his face and somebody else is wearing his face, and then they kill him. And then basically all this is to appease their god, because at the end of the closer to the end of the movie, they hit Florence Pugh's boyfriend after he. I got to tell you this, okay? There's this one scene where you see how they make somebody fall in love with somebody, and the way they do it is weird. Like the girl cuts her pubic hairs and bakes it in like a pie, and then she takes her period blood and pours it in their drink. And this is supposed to make this person love and want to marry them. Well, this girl does it to Florence Pugh's boyfriend, because and towards the end of the movie, Florence Pugh's character ends up winning the right to be called the Midsommar Queen from all the other ones, because they have this dance competition. So they're off doing their sacred tradition, their ritual, and they come back, and her boyfriend is led into this room full of all like these naked women, and the girl's laying on her back, ready for him to have sex with her, and they're all singing and they're humming and stuff. I guess because this is her first time, she's losing her virginity, and he goes up and he has sex with her, and as he's having sex with her, these naked women are in the background humming, and then I guess the priestess or whatever gets down on her knees and holds the girl's hand and starts like really singing to them both while they're having sex. Well, Florence Pugh's character comes back and sees this going on, and she just freaks out. And these people are fucking weird because they're like doing the scene, like she's crying, and they're doing it like they're following her footsteps. They're crying and shit. It's weird. It's weird how they acted. And then after he was done having sex, he's drugged this whole time. Like they drugged him, and he's running around naked trying to find where to go. And a priest came and blew some in his face, and it like knocked him out. He ran into this chicken coop, and he saw one of the characters from earlier in the film strung up like a fucking human butterfly, where his back skin is spread out like wings, It was fucking weird. And then they, right at the end of the movie, they have her decide. They're appeasing their god, and they have to make a sacrifice. They have to make a sacrifice of 9, and they already have 8 because they killed all the people. Like they killed Florence Pugh's friends. Her boyfriend's the only one alive, but he's paralyzed and can't talk. And they killed a couple of their own to basically make this burning sacrifice. But 3 of them have to be alive. So they basically make Florence Pugh decide who was going to take that honor. Was it going to be some guy from the tribe, or was it going to be her cheating boyfriend? And she's sitting there in like flower garb or whatever, and she's like fucking look like she's drugged out off her ass. And she looks at him, and then they cut to a scene where they're gutting this bear, and they're putting the dead bodies into this barn, and he's sitting there. He still can't move because whatever this was fucked him up, and he's sitting there. And after they gut this bear, they put him up on the table next to the bear, and then it shows a pan in his face, and it pans out, and they fucking put his body in the bear's body and sewed it up around him. So he's sitting there, and they put in the middle of this barn that they're about ready to catch on fire. And he's sitting there, and the priests come in, they're chanting, and they're doing their thing, and they come in, and they light this barn on fire, and he can't move because he's paralyzed. And so the barn's going up in flames, and they're showing slow-mos of like the other 9 burning. These people were torn apart and like stuffed with fruits and vegetables. Basically, they say they're making these people one with everything, and this is their deliverance from life. So they're sitting there burning, and then they show the slow panoramic of the fire coming up behind the guy and basically burning him alive. But he can't move or speak or anything, so it's got to be a horrible fucking way to die, I'm telling you. He probably had the worst death because he burned alive. Him and then the 2 other people, which they were screaming, and they were burning. And then the people were outside doing the screaming and stuff too, like just acting weird. So that's pretty much it. And then they show Florence's face, and they showed Danny's face. I kept calling her Florence because that's her real name. But they kept showing Danny's face, and then she started her crying, and then she like looks, and she's all drugged out, and then she started smiling. So, and then it was it. So that's basically Midsommar in a nutshell. Was it a fucking cinematic masterpiece like everybody said it was? No. Was it as bad as fucking Hereditary? Hell no. It was actually a decent movie. I gotta give it to Mr. Astor here. He made a good movie. I didn't think he could because, like I said, Hereditary was shitty, but this one wasn't too bad. It had gore. It had everything. I mean, it was an alright movie. I'd have to give it an 8 out of 10, easily. The acting was good. I just, like I said, I couldn't stand her cry. But other than that, the movie was not bad at all. I mean, I'd watch it again. But another thing, it was a 2.5 hour movie. So I had to watch it in like fucking spurts. So, but yeah, I'd watch it again. I'd probably sit down and watch it from beginning to end without pausing it. So yeah, so horror horde. That's my review on Hereditary. Not Hereditary. Goddamn. Ugh. I had that in my head. That's my review of Midsommar. 8 out of 10. Not a bad movie. Now, what I really wanted to get out here. So, I have a pretty huge announcement. I'm excited to fucking tell you. I've been looking into doing something for a little while now. And now I'm finally starting to take the steps needed to actually get it done. So, what is it, you ask? Your boy Horror Gamer is going to start his own podcast. And I'm fucking excited. And what am I going to be talking about on this podcast? Basically, this podcast is going to be real life ghost stories and urban legends and the stories behind them and the truth behind them or the lack thereof. So I'm going to dive into urban legends and true horror stories. I'm going to break them down for you. I'm going to tell you the urban legend. I'm going to tell you what I think. I'm going to break down like where the stories originated from, give you guys the knowledge that you need to make your decisions on whether or not you believe them or not. So I'm really close to doing that. I already got it planned out. I already got a whole season planned out of 10 episodes. And that's going to be coming in the next few weeks. There's a few things I got to do yet, but I told you guys 2020 was going to be a big year for Horror Gamer and the Horror Horde. So we're branching out on the podcast. And yes, you will be able to find these podcasts on Spotify, wherever you listen to podcasts, it'll be on there. So just look out for it. I'll definitely be releasing a video when the first one goes up, and that's coming in a couple weeks. I still got a few things to polish up, but it's coming. I'm telling you, 2020 is going to be the year for Horror Gamer and his Horror Horde. So, with all that being said, Horror Horde, I love you. Thank you for a great 2019. Here's to a even better 2020. And until next time, this has been your boy Horror Gamer saying, as always, don't fear the darkness. Embrace it.